Hilchis Mechirah Perek Sheni. So in Perek Aleph we learned about the halachas of kinyan of karka, that karka is nikna b'kesef b'shtar b'chazaka, and kama pratim in the halachas of kesef, shtar, and chazaka. Now we're going to learn about din of Evet Knaini, and how Evet Knaini is also deimel karka. It has to be b'kesef, shtar, b'chazaka. What would be considered a chazaka by Evet Knaini? And al derech zeh we're going to learn about metaltalin, various different dinim in the kinyan of metaltalin. Perek Sheni. Evet Knaini hareo kekarka lekniya, and therefore is also v'nikna b'kesef u'b'shtar b'chazaka. There's a v'snachaltem eisel levnechem achrechem. So we learn now that Evet is deimel karka. So just like a karka is nikna b'kesef b'shtar b'chazaka, Evet is also nikna b'kesef b'shtar b'chazaka. Now ma'u chazaka b'kinyan avodim, and again chazaka by karka we said it was no gadur uparatz. What would be chazaka b'kinyan avodim? Just like by karka we learned that if you mishtamish in the karka the way you normally mishtamish in the karka, that's considered a ma'aseh chazaka in the karka. So al derech in the eved, if you use the eved the way an eved is normally used, so that's called a ma'aseh chazaka in the eved. Ketzad hitrali menoli, if the eved was matir untied for him his shoe, eshehinale meloni, or he put on a shoe for him, eshehela kelim beis hamerches, he was carrying his kelim to the Beis HaMerchetz, a shev shite, or he helped him be undressed, a sochi, or he smeared him, a girde is like he kratzed him, a hilbishe, or he helped him get dressed, a higbias rabbi, or he raised his rabbi, so it was also a service for his rabbi. All of this is kona. V'chein, in Megia Rav, so Eved is also kona, because we're going to learn behemshech that a Rav could be kena and Eved also like you kena metaltalin. So there's an Eved you nikna like karka, and also you could be kena an Eved with the kinyonim that you normally kena metaltalin. So mele, just like metaltalin can be nikna b'hagba, so al derech an Eved you could also be kena b'hagba. So till now we're talking about that you're kena the Eved with chazaka. What's the chazaka? That the Eved does those things that an Eved would normally do the rabbi, and one of those things is that the Eved picks up the rabbi. So that's also using their Eved for those things that an Eved would normally use for Rabbi. Then there's another din, Higbi Haravis Eved, it's a completely different din, that the Arav is Kene Bagbo. Now, Tokve, the Rambam says, Halacha Gimel, Tokve v'hivi etzle, he schlepped him and he pulled him to him, is Kone, Shahavadim is also Niknim b'Meshicha Kazu. With a Meshicha of schlepping him, that's an Eved could be Kena. Avul Mkara le'Eved ubo etzle, if the Eved, you call the Eved and he came, is lei kona. You can't be kona with such a meshicha unless you schlep him. In other words, meshicha only works by an eved if you pull him. In other words, by a behema when you tell him to go, so since a behema is ein bidas, so by the behema going, when you tell him to go, so it's clearly you made him go because you told him to go and he came. Mashenkan an Eved, since an Eved is a bardas, so he made a decision to go. So even though he made a decision to go because you called him, but you can't say that you made that Mashiach because he is the one that made the decision to go. So therefore, when he comes because you call him, that's not called a Ma'aseh Mashiach. It's only a Ma'aseh Mashiach when you actually are Moishech him. So that's why the Mashiach by an Eved has to be Yimshechenu B'tkifa. That's one Ephon of Mashiach. Or you use him like an Eved uses. That's a Chazaka. That's talking about. We're saying you have to be magzik b'fnei harav. Now v'imhirzik b'shlei b'fnei harav. If you made this ma'aseh chazaka shlei b'fnei harav, or even if you made the ma'aseh meshicha l'chura also shlei b'fnei harav, like we'll learn b'hemshech, is sarach sheyemo le'chazek uknei. You need that the rav, just like we learned before, that if you make a ma'aseh chazaka shlei b'fnei hamecher, so you have to say le'chazek uknei. So al derech zeh over here, if you have an eved, and someone's selling you his Eved, so in order for you to make a Maisa Chazak on the Eved, either it has to be that you're making the Chazak in front of the original owner, or the original owner told you, Le Chazek Uknei. Now, Eved Kotten Hareu Behema, an Eved Kotten has a din of Behema, and therefore, V'koinen Noise B'dvarim Shekeinen Ben Behema, U'B'dvarim Shekeinen Ben Mavadim, you could also make a Maisa Kinyan which would work by a Behema. And therefore, lefichach nikne b'meshicha afal pi shalei tokfei. By an eved, in order to be kind with him with meshicha, it has to be tokfei. You can't make the ma'aseh meshicha that would work by a behema, like we said before, because since an eved is going midas atzmei, so therefore such a meshicha wouldn't work. Masha'inkin, when we're doing with an Evet Cotton, so an Evet Cotton has a din, Lagabi this prat, like a behema, that if you call the Evet Cotton to come, and he comes, so you also can. So Bekitzer, that's the dinim of an Evet. An Evet is nikna, Bekesser, B'shtara, B'chazokah. What's the gather of Chazokah? That he works for you. We also learned that you kain an Evet by picking him up. You also kain an Evet by Mechirah, but an Evet Gadol has to be a Mechirah that you're taking of him. Masha'inkin, an Evet Cotton, even if a Karalev who ba, that's also called the Mechirah by an Evet Cotton. Halacha Hey, HaBehema. Now you want to be kain a behema. So we're finished with karka. We learned about karka. We learned about avodim. Now we're learning about a behema. HaBehema, ben daka, ben gasa. They're both niknas b'meshicha. They're both niknas b'meshicha. Now normally, if you're able to make something hagbah, something that you're able to make hagbah, so Chazal weren't mesak meshicha. You have to have hagbah. So l'chura, since a behema daka really is shaykhs to make hagbah, so l'chura there would be a svara to say that a behema daka has to have hagbah, and meshicha won't help. A behema gasa you can't pick up, so meshicha helps. But a behema daka, which you could pick up, is l'chura the Chazal could have insisted on having hagbah. Nevertheless, but since it's hard, not always easy to pick up even a behema daka, because it's like pulling itself, it doesn't want to be raised. So therefore, Chazal didn't institute that you have to have hagbah on a behema daka. You can have meshicha. That's this din. A behema ben daka ben gasa is niknas b'meshicha. Aval pi she'efshel lagbiyah. Even though it's possible to be raised a behema daka, nevertheless leitzrichu lagbiyah. Chazal didn't insist that you have to be magbiyah a behema daka, even though normally something that could be raised, you have to be raised. The pnei shemischabet is baris. In other words, it's schlepping itself onto the ground, and therefore it sometimes be resist to be picked up. So therefore, Chazal didn't insist that it has to be raised, that it has to be hugba. You have to be magbiyat. Chazal said that it's enough to be moshechet. Now vehimik be a kohen, but lepel hagbah is kohen. It means meshicha is also kohen, but hagbah is havada kohen. V'hagbah keina b'chol makim. B'chlal hagbah is keina even in brishus of the mecher. Hagbah is always keina. Aval hameshicha ain't keinem ba ele b'simta. Simta is like a keren zavis in the Rishus Harabim, like a little winkel in the Rishus Harabim, which the people aren't going. A b'chatzah shel shneim, or a chatzah that belongs to both people. Meshicha would work. Aber ve'en keina ba b'Rishus Harabim, Meshicha doesn't work in Rishus Harabim, and also v'lei b'chatzah sheina shel shneim. So Hagbah works b'chol makim, Meshicha works in a simta, and it also works in a chatzah shel shneim, but it doesn't work in a chatzah she'ena shel shneim, and it doesn't work in the Rishus Harabim. Halacha vav, ketzet keinem b'sabeim Meshicha. What would be the seder of Meshicha? Ein tzarich leim and moshcha v'holch. If you actually pulled it and it came, so that's mamash Meshicha. Eishiracha v'lev v'holcha. You rode on it, so again you caused it to move. So for sure that's Meshicha shekana. You just called it and it came. You gave it a bang with a stick, and ran in front of you. Is kivin she'akar yad v'regel. Once it moves a hand and a foot, is kana. Just like we learned before that chazak has to be b'fnei habaylim, so al derech zeh meshicha also has to be b'fnei habaylim. Aval moshach shlei b'fnei habaylim. If the meshicha was done shlei b'fnei habaylim, is sarach sheyem with a ked mishimshich lech mishechu knei. In order for the Meshicha to be a Maisa Kinyan, the Mechirah has to tell them lech mishechu knei. Now, just like we learned before that if a person gives someone a mafteach, so that's ki'ilu he gave him, was told him lech mishechu knei. And al as we learned in the Gea Beir that if he gave him the bucket to get the water, that's as if he told him lech mishechu knei. So al as a b'negea behema halacha zayin hamecher edel lechaveri. A person gave a flock of animals to his chaver, or he gave him as a present, or he sold it to him. Kivin shemasule mashchuches. What's mashchuches? He abehema hamaleches b'reisha eda v'akil nimshachem achrei. Like the leader, the animal that was the leader of all the other animals, all the animals follow. So once you give this mashchuches to someone, so then it's if you're telling him lech mishechem, be kind of the rest of the animals. Is ein sarich leimale mishechu knei. Why? The actual giving over of this animal is like saying and therefore see once he makes Mashiach on the Eidah, in other words, being kind of the mashchuchis is not a Maisakinyan on the Eder. The being koine, giving over the Mashchuchis is only another way of saying Lech Mishech Uknei. Go be Meshech the whole Eder. So normally, if you want to make a Mashiach, either you make the Mashiach B'fanav, or the owner has to tell you Lech Mishech Uknei. Masha'enkin, if the owner already transferred the Mashchuchis to the buyer or to the recipient of the matana, so he doesn't have to tell him Lech Mishech Uknei. V'kivin shemashech leho Eder, when he makes Mashiach on the entire Eder, is Kana. Even though lepel mashach shlei b'fanav, the Mashiach was shlei b'fanav, but nevertheless, since he told him lech Mashiach uknei, so that Mashiach works. Now halacha ches ha'omer lechavere mishoich v'tikna. He didn't say Mashiach uknei. He told him Mashiach v'tikna, which sounds like you're making a Mashiach now and you're going to be koina later. Now the din is that sometimes a person can make a Maisa Kinyan now, and that Maisa Kinyan works for later. But Mashiach is not like that. If a person makes a Meichel Mashiach now, and he warns that this Maisa Mashiach right now shouldn't be Kaina, and it should only be Kaina later, it doesn't work. So therefore, since the Lashon is Mashiach V'tikna, which is not Uknei, but rather V'tikna means where you will be Kaina, so therefore it doesn't work. Ha'emer lechaveri. You tell someone, Mashiach, make a Maisa Mashiach, V'tikna, and you will be Kaina. A chazek, make a ma'isa chazaka v'tikna, and you will be kaina. Ukiyetz v'dvarim elu v'holach u'mashach eishehirzik. That person made the mashiach or the chazaka lekana. Shemashma tikna lahaba. The word tikna sounds like he'll be kaina in the future. V'adayin lehikna loy. He wasn't makna yet. And memela, right now, when he's making the ma'isa mashiach, there's no ma'isa kinyan, and later on, there's not going to be either a ma'isa kinyan. It's called Kol Kinyoni. The Kinyan is finished. You can't make a Ma'isa Mashiach now that the Chal should be Chal later. Go make a Chazaka Uknei, not V'tikna Uknei. A Mashiach Uknei. Ukiyetze b'dvarim elu shemashmoin sheyikna ata be'eshe yimshech eyagzik. That the Lashon Uknei means you'll make a Ma'isa Kinyan now and you'll be Koina now. Mashiach V'tikna means you'll be Koina later. And you can't make a Maisa Kinyan now and be Kaina later. Now, go ahead and be Moshe this para. I don't want that the Chales Kinyan should be Chal El Lacher Shleishim. Umashach he made a Maisa Kinyan Leikona. Because Lepel Bishas later, when he wants to be Kaina, there was no Maisa Kinyan. He made a Maisa Kinyan now. That Maisa Kinyan didn't cause a Chales Kinyan, and later on there was no Maisa Kinyan. You can't have a Maisa Kinyan that's hanging. However, he didn't just say Mishech Parazu and Shbikein Lacher Shleishim. He told him Knei Miyachshav Lacher Shleishim is Kona. It's not in his rishus, it's not in the rishus of the Lekech, but nevertheless, since he told him Miyachshav Lacher Shleishim, it works. Why? It's like he's making a t'nai, saying, I want the Kinyan should be chal now, but I don't want that it should actually become yours. And the Chales Kinyan should work from now, and al t'nai that later on it should work retroactively. Is nasa t'nai nix kaim at Kinyan. Once the t'nai happens, is nis kaim at nin. V'chol eim al menas is keim ha'me'achshav dami. So when a person says Meshech parazu v'litikne el al menas la'achar shleishim yem, somewhere or another psaloshin al menas, just like we learned Hilchos Noim and Hilchos Ishus, that there was mishpatei at noim, but when a person gives a almanas, so the Ram said over there, almanas is kiachshav. So over here also, I'm being really makne to you right now. The Chales Kinyan is really happening now. But almanas, that we want to wait 30 days and then it's retroactively work from now. So when a person says almanas that we'll wait for 30 days, we'll wait for 30 days, and then retroactively the Kinyan was chal already now. Halacha Yud, hamecher behemel lechaver einosle b'matana. I want you to make a regular kinyan. A kinyan like regular people who kinyan. Is in Moshe Chayibia, if he made a Maisa Mashiach, he pulled it, or he made a Maisa Agbo, it's kana. But he wrote on it. Now we learned before that Rechiv is also a Maisa Mashiach. So it depends. In Besada, if he wrote on it, Besada, where it's regular for people to ride on a behema, is kana. However, in Be'ir, if he wrote on it, the city is Leikana. Why? Regular people don't normally ride on an animal be'ir. So therefore, since you told him that he should be koine kedera shebnei adam kainim, and regular people aren't riding on a behema beer, so therefore he wasn't Kena. Now, therefore, if he was a person that will fail for him, it's regular for people like him to ride in the air, so it's different. Im adam choshuv shedarke lirchav be'er. For him, it is the derech lirchav be'er. That's one option. Oy adam mezulzul be'eser, or fakert, he was an adam mezulzul be'eser. She'eni makbid ali lucha be'er rechav. He doesn't mind going the city rechav, even though regular people don't. Adam choshuv does, but so he's an adam mezulzul. He doesn't care, and therefore he does go be'er rechav. It's regular for him to be go be'er rechav. Kigoyin hametaplim begidol behemis, people that are involved in gidol behemis. Oy avodim, or avodim, people also aren't makbid on their covet, and therefore they may ride in the city. Oy shahoisa isha, an isha is also, it's regular for an isha to ride in the city. Oy shahoya b'rshus harabim, it was a rshus harabim, shaharabim dershim sham, so a lot of people are going there, so therefore it's hard to walk, so therefore it's normal to be able to walk in the rshus harabim, to go on to ride on a behema, is areza kena b'rechiva. It moves. It moved with while riding on it. It just wasn't just sitting on it. It was actually moving. So then he was kain. He made a Mechirah. Is nachama. When a person tells a person you should make a kinyan, but the kinyan should be a regular kinyan. So if he makes a regular Mechirah, he pulls it. A regular hagbo, he pulls it for b'seder good. If he goes ahead and rides at it and it's a sod, it's also b'seder. Now if he rides in it in the air, so it depends. If he's a regular person, it's not a good kinyan. Mashenkin, if he's an Adam Choshev, or he's an Adam Mezulzul B'Yeser, or we're dealing with Avodim, or we're talking about an Isha, or there were circumstances, which those circumstances in Rosh Hashanah, it was very crowded, therefore it was normal for him to ride, so therefore he is Kaina, then he is Kaina. Now the Shaila is that this last case, and therefore you're Kaina because it's regular to ride on an animal, but l'chura, if we're talking about it's a reshus harabim, the sharabim dersabei, l'chura Mechirah is not kena. The whole kinyan of rechiva is only Mechirah, and Mechirah we learned before is not kena in reshus harabim. It's only a kena either in a simta or b'mokim shirshus shel shneim. So how could you say that if you're reichav in the reshus harabim you're kena? So one of the terutzim is that we're going to learn behemshech that if you make a Mechirah and you start taking something out of a Reshus HaRabim and you bring it into Reshus HaYochid, so even though you didn't actually bring it into Reshus HaYochid, you just started bringing it to Reshus HaYochid, that's already also a Maisa Kinyan. So, in other words, if you'd have to bring it complete in Reshus HaYochid, so the Maisa Kinyan won't be in Reshus HaRabim, the Maisa Kinyan will be in Reshus HaYochid. But over here, the Pshat is you made the Maisa Kinyan in the Reshus HaRabim by starting to bring it in Reshus HaYochid. But it's not regular because you're riding on the Behema. Because you started bringing the Behema into the Reshus HaYochid. But l'chura you're riding, and riding is not regular. So we're saying no, but since it's a Reshus HaRabim, and Rabim Dersim, so it is regular. And therefore the kinyan that you started bringing into Reshus HaYochid is considered a Maisa Kinyan, and therefore you're Kena. That's how the Nesivus answers, how could it be that you were Kena with Mechirah and Reshus HaRabim? The answer is, because you started bringing it into the Reshus HaYochid.